Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to come and run my mouth and talk about the mess. All right, y'all. So listen, we're gonna talk about some things today. For those who don't know, this is a very much pro trans page. This is a pro LGBTQIA plus page. So if you are transphobic, homophobic, this is not the page for you. Just an FYI. We can always have a difference of opinion. It's not what you say, is how you say it. Uh, yeah. So on that note, let's go ahead and get into the first topic. So this I saw on the neighborhood talk. Y'all know Nicki. Oh, Nika. Nicki MAGA Minaj. So Nicki Minaj clarifies she's not against trans adults and doesn't judge, but is against trans children getting surgery. Says the children are 19 times more likely to commit unaliving if they have surgery before they're an adult. So let's take a listen to what Nicki MAGA Minaj had to say, and then we'll talk.
What is some of the policies in California, given you've spent a lot of time there, that makes you think Gavin Newsom is Gavin Newsom? Is it the mass amount of illegal immigration and tax dollars being spent for legal and healthcare? Is it the failure to rebuild homes in the Palisades? Is it just pro-trans ideology and pushing that on kids in schools? What stands out the most to you?
And I'm glad you asked that because I want to make it clear. I personally don't have an issue with the trans part of the LGBT at all. I am the biggest advocate for adults being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're adults. I don't care. I only mentioned something because when it comes to children, I wouldn't even allow my 17-year-old daughter to get breast implants. Neither, like, and most 99% of the parents would not let their 17-year-old child get breast implants. So if you wouldn't let a child get breast implants, you're not going to want them to have any kind of surgery, because we all know the brain is not developed. And we've heard about 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What more do you need to know? That a child is 19 times more likely to commit suicide if they have a surgery before they're an adult? So I just wanted to make that clear because, of course, I don't judge, adults with, they can do whatever they want. With Newsom, it's the fact that fuck her. And all of them.
I do want to start out with this. I do believe that one of her talking points, um, and one of the talking points that I see a lot of people regurgitate, is not being able to have surgery until you're 18, due to what she says is because one of the reasons is because your brain is not developed. Well, your brain is not fully developed until the age of 25. So if that's the case, that means that you shouldn't be able to have any type of surgery until the age of 25, until the brain is developed. Because based off what Onika said, the brain isn't even fully developed while you're trying to have these surgeries, right? But if that's the case, and if we're going to use that as one of the reasons why you should wait, then no one should be getting any type of surgery done until the brain is fully developed, which is at the age of 25. And then even some studies say it could even go up until until like 32. So I want to read an article. I'm going to put these articles in the description box. You know what really kind of makes my asshole itch is I saw a gay guy defending Nicki, of course, and someone left a comment. He was like, "We're not reading all of that," and just like people were saying, that's the problem. You don't want to read. You don't want to read, and so you'll continue to live in ignorance due to the fact that you just don't want to read an article. So, anyways, I'm going to put the links to these articles in the description box. So, the first article is this: Debunked. The Swedish study doesn't say what anti trans activists claim it says. In many hearings lately, anti trans activists have brought up the Swedish study to claim that trans people have 19 times higher suicide rates. This is a myth and not supported by the study or the author. In recent months, many trans activists, Republicans, and witnesses have cited a Swedish study alleging that transgender individuals face a 19 times higher um, suicide rate after receiving gender affirming care. Now, Nicki said that kids are committing unaliving after they receive surgery at 19 times more than other kids. This is where Nicki got this information from. Dr. Jennifer Baldwin's mentioned this study in a congressional hearing on gender affirming care recently. Chloe Cole, a political detransitioner, referred to the study in a lawsuit against Kaiser Permanente. Even Elon Musk cited the study, suggesting he would actively lobby to criminalize gender affirming care for transgender youth. The issue: the Swedish study doesn't support any of these claims. It uses data from several decades ago, a period when transgender people faced heightened abuse rates, to make a statement about the time period. Moreover, the study doesn't discuss or observe the impact of gender affirming care on suicidality, contrary to what these opponents suggest. Typically, when anti trans activists refer to the Swedish study, they're citing a 2011 study done by a research team led by Dr. Cecilia Dehaney, a medical research doctor specializing in gender identity. The study looked at 324 transgender people who had received sex reassignment surgery between the years of 1973 to 2003. The purpose of the study was to analyze all-cause mortality among the patient population, historically, in order to assess transgender health in that time period. Specifically, the study says that it does not address whether sex reassignment is an effective treatment or not. Importantly, the study does not compare transgender people who received gender affirming care with transgender people who did not receive gender affirming care. Instead, it compares transgender people who received care with the general population of cisgendered people. This is purposeful, as the point of the study was to evaluate the unique health risk of post-op transgendered people. Again, the study makes no evaluation of the risk of effectiveness of gender affirming care. So Nicki is using this, girl, to say that the kids, after they receive surgery, that they're offing themselves. Fuck her. The study recorded high rates of all-cause mortality and evaluated suicide rates between 1973 and 2003. Such findings are consistent with the challenges faced by the transgender community during this period. Discrimination against transgender individuals were rampant. The AIDS HIV epidemic disproportionately affected the community. While the gay rights movement made significant strides, transgender rights often lagged far behind. Past standards of care were extremely restrictive, mandating dozens of very costly therapy sessions. Access to hormone medication was heavily gatekept. Widespread discrimination was prevalent during this era. Many transgender individuals were compelled to present according to their assigned sex at birth and workplace, schools, and various public spaces. It was a rough period for the transgender community. So, what y'all are trying to do is use the time period where the girls and boys were going through hell and back, and using, with some of them unaliving themselves, as, oh, they unalived themselves after they got surgery. And again, Nicki is trying to use this study to say that the kids are unaliving themselves after they have surgery. Her. Fuck her. And all of them. I'm going to put this link. I'm going to put the article to this. I'm going to put the link to this article in the description box so you can read it in its totality. Okay? So the next thing I want to discuss is this. Okay. So the next one is few adolescents receive gender affirming medications surgeries. So the key takeaways is an average of 8 youth started puberty blockers and 4 started hormones per day from 2018 to 2012. No children aged 12 years or younger received hormones or gender affirming surgery. Less than 0.1% of adolescents in the United States identified as transgender or gender diverse and receive puberty blockers or gender affirming hormones, according to study findings published this week in JAMA Pediatrics. We have heard misinformation over the past few years about the number of youth accessing this care, and our data suggests the number is much smaller than has been discussed in public discourse. Landon D. Hughes, PhD, at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and postdoctoral research fellow at the Harvard Medical School, told Helio. According to KFF, 26 U.S. states have passed bans on gender affirming healthcare, such as puberty blockers, hormones, and surgical procedures for children aged 17 years or younger. 2 studies published in the last year have shown this type of care is rare and that pediatricians are following current standards of care. Let me say this. There are people, I left a comment on Neighborhood Talk. Y'all, but not y'all, shout out to Diva, don't even know the difference between gender identity and sexuality. That's 1. 2, y'all don't know the difference between puberty blockers and surgery. Nicki is out here saying the girls are getting. Now we're gonna talk about the number. Don't we gonna get to that? Just give me a second. The way that y'all talk as if these trans kids are leaving school on Friday, getting titties on their chest on Saturday, and coming back to school on Monday, it's just not the truth. You don't have the numbers to back you up. Yes, it has happened. We're going to get to that. But the way that y'all are talking about this as if it happens all the time is just not the truth. You want to bring Zaya Wade into the conversation. You want to bring the trans girls into the conversation, but you're not starting at the beginning. While, yes, the transition does start before we even know about how they feel. That's the truth. The transition has already started, okay? It is a difference between somebody receiving puberty blockers and getting titties on their motherfucking chest. It is a difference with someone saying, we'll just use Zaya as an example. These are my pronouns, her and she. It is a difference with saying, I want to have long hair instead of a fade. The way I socially present myself is changing. But the narrative that y'all are pushing as if because, oh, my kids, my niece knows somebody who was on puberty blockers. Girl, that's not the same thing as what Nicki is trying to say. Oh, I know some girls. I know some of the boys who came to school dressed like girls. That's still not the same thing. Y'all are trying to lump it in some of these studies, they're lumping it all together. They'll lump in puberty blockers, hormones, surgery, like they're lump, and that's what y'all are doing in the comment section. Y'all are trying to make it seem as though surgery is the same exact thing as a little boy putting on a dress. You're trying to make it seem as though surgery is the same exact thing as someone saying, my pronouns are he, or she, or her, or he, if it's a trans boy. It's not the same thing. Let's get into the number. Okay, So Danny Dye, a data analyst in the Department of Health Policy and Management at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, and colleagues, including Hughes, investigated patient demographic for all gender-affirming surgeries performed in the U.S. in 2019. They excluded procedures for patients with differences in sex development, as well as people who received amputations due to cancer or injury. There were 2,664 gender affirming surgical procedures among adults, which equates to a rate of 5.3 per 100,000 total adults, according to Dye and colleagues. Among children and adolescents, 85 received gender affirming surgeries, nearly all of which were for patients aged 15 to 17 years, 2.1 per 100,000. No children aged 12 or younger received gender affirming surgery. A majority of surgeries among adults and almost all surgeries among adolescents were related to the chest, the researchers reported. 4 in 5 breast reductions among adults and 97% among adolescents were performed on cisgendered men and boys. These findings suggest that concerns around high rates of. Ooh, hold up. Okay, I'm sorry, that was my sister. Okay, so a majority of surgeries among adults, 59.7%, and almost all surgeries among adolescents, 96.4, were related to the chest. The researchers reported 4 in 5 breast reductions among adults and 97% among adolescents were performed on cisgender men and boys. These findings suggest that concerns around high rates of gender affirming surgery use, specifically among minors, may be unwarranted. These findings suggest that concerns around high rates of gender affirming surgery use, specifically among minors, may be unwarranted. Girl, the way that y'all be carrying on is like the boys and girls is skipping school throughout the week and then coming back, girl, with dicks and pussies and titties on their chest. That's the way that y'all be acting online. And the numbers don't support the outrage. While, yes, there are some out there who have had surgery, it still does not equate to them not being happy. And the thing that really gets me, and then on top of that, girl, another thing is that some of these surgeries are held through private insurance companies. That's another thing. But the thing that really bothers me the most is the amount of gay men and lesbians online defending Nicki and defending what she said, which is absolutely incorrect. Out of everybody, especially those who did not grow up in a household where they could be themselves and be happy and be free and live in their authenticity, girl, you should know. Because a lot of y'all mamas and daddies wasn't going for that punk shit. So for you then to turn around and want to suppress someone else from being happy and living a fulfilling life, all because you don't understand or agree with the choices that this person and their guardians and parents have come to decide with the help of doctors. That's some nasty work.
Shut your fucking mouth.
That's some nasty work. The amount of punks I have seen online defending this, like I had to tell somebody, sister, Nicki don't even give a fuck about you. I look on your page, and it's no disrespect, but girl, I look on your page, and you ain't counting and boom cacking with fringe, you and your sisters, grown ass men, but you got the nerve to sit here and want somebody not to live in their truth, but you boom cacking and twirling and doing kicks and splits with fringe on.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Let me read something else for the girls, okay? This is according to NPR.org. This was an article published on September the 26th, 2024. More trans teens attempted suicide after states passed anti-trans law, a study shows. States that passed anti-transgender laws aimed at minors saw suicide attempts by transgendered and gender nonconforming teenagers increase by as much as 72% in the following years, a new study by the Trevor Project says. The peer-reviewed study published Thursday in the journal Nature Human Behavior looked at the survey data from young people in 19 states comparing rates of suicide attempts before and after bans passed. Over the past few years, dozens of states have passed laws affecting how transgender young people do things like play sports, go to the bathroom at school, and access gender-affirming medical care. You know my child is dead, Kentucky Senator Karen Berg said at the State House during the debate over the state's anti-trans bill in February 2023. Her transgender son has died by suicide 2 months earlier at age 24. Your vote, yes, on this bill means one of two things. Either you believe that trans children do not exist, or you believe that trans children do not deserve to exist. The anti-trans bill in Kentucky passed. At least 26 other states now have similar laws on the books. At the end of the day, people are going to believe what they want to believe. Yes, there are cases of minors of certain ages receiving surgery. With that being said, your concern should only be is if these children are happy and living fulfilling lives. Yes, there will be a case or two where they may regret their decision. And that is something they would have to deal with, their family would have to deal with. You ain't got to worry about it. But for y'all to act as if there are these millions, hundreds of thousands of cases, tens of thousands of cases, is just not the truth. You don't even have the data or the facts to back that up. And in some of these cases, they are lumping, like y'all were doing on the neighborhood talk, the fact that Kevin came to school with a dress on Tuesday, equating that and trying to draw a parallel to getting surgery. While yes, that may be the beginning stages to them eventually getting surgery and living in their authentic self. But someone socially changing who they are, whether it's, again, their pronouns, how they present to the public, is not, puberty blockers, hormones, is not the same thing as what Nicki was trying to paint, as though these kids are just coming to school with titties on their motherfucking chest and then killing themselves after the surgery. You gay and you ignorant. That's the part that kills me. And it be the effeminate gay men that really, girl, get me riled up. How you walking around here, boom catting, girl, with an arch in your back, lip gloss on your face, girl, NW40, girl, NC40, girl, Mac, girl, face beat, and then have the audacity to turn your nose up at somebody. Have the nerve to not even try to understand what other people are going through in the community. It's not to say that it will make it better if you were this masculine presenting man who could get away and float through society as a straight man. It still won't make it no better, because at the end of the day, girl, you still a faggot. And that's the part that's another thing, right? That's another thing too. It be the boys who walk around here with 2 or 3 muscles, voice might be a little deep, that think that they are the exception until they find out that they're not. Because once the girls find out that you sleep with niggas, you a faggot too. It don't matter how many muscles you got, how deep your voice is, how many bitches you can pull at the club on Saturday night with your homeboys. Once they find out you sleep with men, you a punk too. So don't you ever forget it. But to the effeminate men out there who have the nerve to sit here and turn your nose up at the trans kids and the trans, and I'm gonna bring the T.S. Madison into it too. It's bullshit. And y'all don't believe that over the age of 18 they can make decisions. Because you know how I know? Because y'all still disrespectful to the adult trans men and women out there. That's how I know y'all don't believe, well, once they turn 18, they can make their own decisions. Well, if that's the case, then why the fuck y'all always got something to say even about the adult trans people? If you really believe that over the age of 18, they can make their own decisions, even though we know the brain is not fully developed until the age of 25, then why do you still have something to say about the T.S. Madisons of the world? Because you really don't believe that. If you want to be transphobic, be transphobic. If you want to be homophobic, be homophobic. Most of y'all are anyways. No tea, no shade. And if you're not part of the y'all, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. I had to tell somebody that online the other day. It's not us. Well, bitch, if it ain't us, then you shouldn't even be bothered. If what I said don't apply, then let it fly. If what I said, if you don't fit into what I'm saying, then you ain't even got nothing to worry about. But you're responding because you felt hit. I'll put these articles in the description box so y'all can read them. Again, the information is out there. If you read, you know the facts. You know people. They even talked about how even teenage boys getting surgery due to man boobs, basically. They sometimes put all of this stuff together. They'll put the puberty blockers, the hormones, even boys who got man boobs, getting those removed. They put it all in together, right? But when you really start to look at the numbers and break it down, the numbers don't back up the outrage. And again, even if something was to happen, y'all be the first ones telling people, can't nobody tell you how to raise your kids? Well, take your own fucking advice. And bringing Zaya Wade into the conversation, Zaya Wade did not have surgery. You're lying when you say that. Y'all saw Zaya Wade put a motherfucking dress on and put a 40-inch wig on and throw some heels on, and y'all automatically thought that she was having surgery. She did not have surgery. That is a lie. Yes, her transition started. Her transition started way before we were even before we knew about it. But yes, socially we could see her transition start. But she did not have surgery. Now, what she got going on now, I don't know. But she was not having surgery. Y'all love to push Zaya Wade had surgery, which is a bold-faced lie. Again, how you socially present yourself, you cannot put that on the same level as surgery. While yes, the process starts for some of the girls and boys with the puberty blockers, and then eventually they may get surgery, or some of them may stop the blockers and go on and live their life as a boy or as a girl. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have I'm glad I got through this, girl, because I thought I was gonna be hollering and screaming and crying. See, I'm working on my emotions. Emotions make you cry sometimes. All right, y'all. I gotta go, girl. I gotta go to my sister house because we got some stuff going on, and my sister's stressing me the fuck out. Nothing major. Girl, we trying to get some outfits together. Okay, we going somewhere. So we trying to be cute. So I gotta go. I'm about to go to my sister's house and we're gonna figure out some shit. Cause baby, she got my nerves bad. Girl, you girl. I said, go to your closet, girl. Cause I done already found my outfit. Okay, I said, girl, I got too many clothes in that closet for me not to find something, and I did. It wasn't what I wanted to wear, but I'm gonna post pictures. Y'all will see the outfits that I had that I came up with. Last minute, but some of them are actually really cute. I told y'all back in the day, girl, I was one of the fashion girls and boys. I'm gonna show y'all. It's my time. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.
Fuck her. And all of them